right. Hey, guys. Hey, so getting to kill. Well, I guess Shubham isn't on just yet. Oh, there we go. All right. Hey, Shubham. Hello, Zane and Nikhil.
Yeah, highly.
Hey, guys. Hey.
Like
Hello.
today we have a very noted.
Yeah. 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 We haven't been, well, yeah. I don't know. We haven't been promoting or pushing or discussing the things that we do in this meeting as much as we have a couple of the other ones. And so I suspect that's what's going on. And so, yeah, I don't know. Maybe when we when we do this initial release of the Learn NG, it might be that we would have a couple more people jump in. We might have Luke Juggery. He might get excited enough to work on some curriculum. That would be cool. But so good. So in the meantime, let's start. Let's yeah, let's yeah, KubeCon's pretty busy. Oh, I tried to just take the weekend away from the computer. It didn't happen. But good of the folks that are here. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just seeing some of the chat. Okay, with you guys that are here, I think today's the day. I think this is actually it. I think like for real, we're going to review probably what's essentially the final structural PR for the learning paths, and we'll probably publish, right? We'll probably just turn it on. Then what we'll do is realize that that it's time to propagate links like across various pages and have call outs for the learning path, that we should actually create an email and send it out to people, let them know, hey, it's here, go through the course or start your learning path. It'll be cool. It'll be good. Okay, so Shubham, nice to have you. Briefly, Shubham, we've been working on a new set of learning, and that's what we're going to focus on for the first part of the meeting. So Nikhil has championed this, this thing that we call learning paths, and I will explain it as we go. An interesting mental note for everyone, and I think Nikhil is very well aware of this. He created the workflow that happens here. But to the extent that you have many commits going on a pull request, you'll want to be cautious to look for the last one of the latest one of these comments, because these links do change. These are builds at a point in time. Nikhil, one of the things that I did over the weekend was look at how we're doing builds a little bit. It wasn't so much, I'm sorry, it wasn't how we were doing builds. It was this. It was when you go to Google, and we've looked at this in the past, you search for Layer5, you sometimes maybe, I don't know that it'll show right on this page, which is good. But if you search for, by the way, we've got our own knowledge panel, which is great. We need to, let's talk about the knowledge panel in a minute. But if you do this, this site comes up, it's being indexed, the preview site for Netlify. So yesterday, one of the things that I did to try to combat this, and look at this is bad because it's being, wait a second. So this is Shyam, what's his name? What's the guy's name? Lamba. Shivai Lamba. this is, I think, I think he works at Dark Horse. Why would this dev post be pointing to layer 5 NG? What? People are talking about the fact that we have build previews. What? Is this just completely made up, or what is this?
It seems like he was trying to show.
This guy might be talking about how. I don't know. Look at this, man. That's a throwback, huh? Oh man, it's when one of us uses those ugly. Wow, look at that. Some old stuff. Okay, I've totally gotten off track. So we have learning paths. Nikhil is finishing it up. This is the preview link. The thing I wanted to say was that ideally we're not letting Netlify, or we're not letting Google index the Netlify thing. So what I ended up publishing is an underscore redirect as a on our root file system. So when the site gets published under static, any pages that are under /static just get published as files publicly available under layer5 IO /nothing. They're just at the root. These redirects. What I ended up putting in is that any URLs that go to layer5ng.netlify.app for HTTPS or HTTP get redirected to layer5 IO permanently, or yeah, permanently.
It start working.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, so this indexing isn't gone, but that might take a little while for it to go away. If we go to layer5.io /underscore redirects, oops, I can't, the zoom bar is in my way. Hold on. Okay. layer5.io Is it not an underscore at that point? I guess maybe you wouldn't be able to get to the file itself as much as if you were to go to layer5. No, yeah, it's not working because we just went to layer5 NG and it redirected you, or it doesn't redirect. Supposedly there's a configuration that you can make inside of netlify.toml.
I think it is like one of those old indexing which is coming up, because last few months ago or so we discussed about stopping the indexing for the reply to usage, and after that we don't see the reply to use comes up in the indexing.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. So Abhishek, who's on the call, do you have any experience with this, with preventing a site like Netlify from being indexed? So we have this layer5ng.netlify.app, and it's being indexed by Google. We want to set like a robots.txt or something to prevent it from being indexed.
No, I think I have hosted a site with GoDaddy previously, but I think that take care of redirect. There is a file called I don't remember it, where all the redirection configurations used to be written down. So whenever someone goes to .netlify, so it will automatically redirect to this. Actually, it will not be happening with, I'm not sure, but it should not be happening with slash like underscore redirects. I have to like check it once again and see, like it's like 5-6 months. I don't remember actually, but
Yep. Yeah. The thing is like we do desire for web browsers to be able to go to the preview links so that we can preview what's going on and we can see the new changes that people have proposed. But what we don't want is for Google or any other search engine to index the site. And so, yeah, one thing that we can do, which we don't have right now, one thing that we can do is in /static is to put a robots.txt that, well, it can't prevent, like, the robots.txt has to only be there to prevent no end, to stop any indexing. It has to be there only for layer 5 NG. Now, I think all of you, most of you that are on the call have access to the configuration that's done, the build that's happening in Netlify. So it could be a build side or a Netlify side configuration. The thing is like the Netlify builds are not done in Netlify. They're actually done in Google, in GitHub Actions. So there's a GitHub action that we might need to incorporate. Yeah, well, Nikhil, we'll have to look into it a little bit because the GitHub action here, okay, there's one for a deploy preview, and then there's one for a full build and deploy. So it's the deploy preview, this one, not build and deploy. It's this one that we need to update to include like a robots.txt or something. Does that make sense? It's starting to make sense to me. Granted, I've only had 2 sips of coffee, so it's pretty holy. Oh. Okay. Wow, Nikhil, we completely digressed into something else, but I think this is helpful. So I think this is yours. Yeah. So I think this is the current one that's running. Yep, it is. All right. So let's flag this one as an item to follow up on. So it would be a couple of approaches. Like there's a couple of approaches. So publish a no index for the only within the deploy preview action, right? Or workflow.
Yeah, I've sent a link. Someone has just faced the same issue, and they used to be solved it with the robot.txt file. Just adding the tag like no index in the file and some other redirects.
Yeah, this one is in their Netlify format. Like, yeah, this or, and so in your headers file, that's weird. See, like, I don't even, yeah. So yep, this will take a little bit more investigation. I put in an underscore redirects file yesterday, but I don't know that that's actually what I was supposed to do. Like, I think the underscore redirects, if that is,
yeah, so I have used underscore redirects in one of the previous Netlify websites. So it is helpful in in browser routing, like whenever you are going to different routes in Netlify application itself.
Sure.
So it just helps limiting the context of the routes. Otherwise, it just throws 404 error for not fonts. So, it's possible that it is used for this purpose too. We just need more investigation in the area.
Yeah. So there's a couple that makes a lot of sense. There's a couple of issues with the redirects that I created last night. So one issue with this file is that this isn't part of Netlify's configuration. Like Netlify isn't picking this up and then incorporating it as it does a build. So it's just a file sitting out here doing nothing. So that's an issue. But even if it was put into the correct directory and netlify.toml or what have you configured to pick this up and incorporate it into the build of the site, even then, I don't think that this would be the answer, because what the effect that it would have is the same effect that you were just saying, which is anytime that someone goes to layer5ng.netlify.app, oh, okay, redirect them to layer5.io. It's like, well, yes, that's desired for search. If your search engine, if your user agent is Google search engine or Yahoo or whatever else, but that's not desired if your user agent is Safari, Chrome, if you're a regular user, because we do want for people to go to these preview deploys. So yeah, robots.txt is probably more like what we're looking for to be able to, I don't know. Yeah.
I think that will not create a problem, since in website subdomains are handled separately. So if whenever there is a deploy preview, so it comes with a hash file, then the domain.netlify.app. So it will not be redirected to the other website. The only website that will be redirected is what we have just given, like layer5.netlify.app. So when we go to it, so it will redirect. But if it is followed by some other commit hashes, like as it does in deploy previews and similar things, so it won't be behaving similar, right? So it won't be redirecting most likely. Like I have not seen. That won't be an issue.
Cool. Good. Let's circle back to this and figure out who's going to carry it forward just after we go through Nikhil's stuff. So is anybody else on? We've got Mr. Vedant. Good. Mr. Kakta. Hey, Vedant, how do you pronounce your last name?
Vedant Kakade.
Oh, Kakade. Vedant Kakade. Oh, man, that was good. You guys, I'm proud of myself. Kakade. Okay, good. All right, let's go through Nikhil's thing. All right. So Nikhil took some feedback last time. Feedback was to try to get a call out on the generic /learn page. Okay. Potentially reorder the course cards on the main LearnNG page, right? Okay. Lee has his homework to do. Update the description, number the courses and sort them correctly in the path overview page. Okay. Yeah, geez. Okay. Add a back button to help people keep track of where they're going. Create cookie crumbs. Okay. Have a wrap up page at the end to be able to, like, perpetually at the end of every course, have a final chapter as a wrap up. Created a call out, just like our discuss forum call out, so we can propagate call outs to every or to the learning paths. Okay, so let's go take a look at the changes that Nikhil did. So the first set of changes we should be able to see them from /learn. So if we just navigate to /learn. So it's layer5io/learn. But it should be basically four sections now. So we're gonna have books for people, 4 books. We're gonna have workshops for people. By the way, guys, for all you guys that are on, these are free. Like the workshops are free. You can go self-study and take them. That's good. This book right here is free. And so is this one. Anyway, so, okay. So then.
So the patterns book is like in an early release, like, so it is not confirmed.
Right. Yeah.
So,
No. Yeah.
So is it up for review? Like, is it free or?
If you're an O'Reilly.com subscriber, it is. But otherwise, it's not available unless you're here in this community and you want to work on these. Then yes, I have the manuscript with me. Like, as a matter of fact, there's two chapters due tomorrow. Actually, it's not just 2; it's a bunch. So I invited 2 other guys to HashiCorp and Microsoft to help.
Oh, so that's awesome. Like it's 2023 Jan. So it's.
Is that what it is? Dude, we only started in 2019. Oh, I guess technically it was the beginning of 2020. Anyway, okay. So it's going to be good when it finally comes out. If it does. All right. So on Nikhil's thing, there is a, okay. So there's workshops. That's the second type of learning, and there's feedback about the workshop. So this is great. People saying good things, and then there's a third section, learning paths, good, and a fourth section, interactive labs. So, and then there's just a call out to like join our community at the bottom. Can anyone guess what the issue might be with this third section?
It gets hidden out or missed out.
Say it again, Nikhil.
It gets missed out in between the other 2 sections.
Yeah, there's just a lack of differentiation between the sections. People would not understand that, not visually be clued into the fact that this is feedback, that this section belongs with this one here. Okay, good. So that so that's a -1 point for Nikhil. Hold on.
By the end of the call, we'll see if I'm in plus or minus.
Of course, Lee's starting in the hole of about minus, I don't know, 85 or something. Like Lee hasn't done his work for weeks. I think Lee got held back a grade. I think it's like, all right. So, all right, learning paths, good. So we get the title of the thing, learn how to build an application about, okay. So yeah, part of Lee's homework is to more or less, like something that isn't obvious, like even to you guys as we're sitting here, I think it's pretty obvious, like, oh, these are books. This section is about books. I can go check out these books. Okay, good. This section, workshops. That's the title of it. That's the title of it. The title of it is learning paths. Perfect. The title down here, though, it's like, wait a second, what oh, interactive labs. Okay. It might be that we should go change this a little bit so that it becomes clear that these are interactive labs. But for learning paths, we're doing good. Lee needs to go update this a little bit just to describe the fact that you can go on a journey of learning and over multiple courses. And so of the courses, of the learning paths that are available, there's one available now. It's called Mastering Service Meshes for Developers, to learn how to set up a service mesh and build an application. Nice. There are 2 courses within this single learning path. And we've got a generic service mesh looking icon just to add some flavor. Now, this is using the Keppel green and some yellows and a blue. it's hard to see, but that's what this icon is using. So the color here, it's like, should we use, this is the Keppel green, this one, the one before you hover, it's the Keppel green. And then on hover here, that lighter one, that's Caribbean green, just for everyone's reference. And so, I don't know, it's a point of reflection. Maybe when we're done, we would come back and ask ourselves, should there be a tie-in in between the colors? I don't know. This is so light that it wouldn't really matter anyway. So anyway, so that's the color that we have is this one. So people click to go in. So there's only one place to click. It's not like you can click, you're basically choosing a learning path from here. You're like, oh yeah, that one, the one for developers, that's for me. I'm going to go do that one. So you can't, okay, so you navigate right into that learning path. You aren't able to navigate to this learning paths itself, this higher level description of what they are, which I think could be nice, that like in here, somewhere in here, we might have a link, or this itself might become a link, just the overall. The funny thing is, it's like, okay, what about these workshops? There's a lot of them. So can I click this individual one for Linkerd? Yeah, I get dropped right into the Linkerd one. If I want to see all workshops, I have to nav back. It's a little bit of a different style here, but I would nav back and, oh, here's all the workshops. Okay. That's a lot of people that we've trained. That's not a made up number either. Okay. So if we go back, can I, from here, can I navigate to all the workshops, Okay. Yeah, I can. Okay, what about for the books? If I say I want to read just the patterns book, it goes right to patterns. Well, can I go back to the higher level books? No. So Shubham or Vedant or Zain, there's an open need here for consistency. So for us to have a cookie crumb that goes back, we need something that says, just like it says all workshops, we need for it to say all books and let someone go back. For the individual that would take that on, would you just drop your name in here, all books? Okay, so if we go back, we just like consistency is a real thing that we try to do. So okay, from here though, if I want to get to all books, wait, okay, is that there's no hyperlink? Oh, okay, I can't get to all books, and I can't go to a book and like navigate up a level. Like, oh, so the question becomes, we want to be consistent? So should this be a hyperlink? It's kind of ugly. Like if you have the header as a hyperlink too, even though it wouldn't have an underline, it's just kind of ugly. The button though, check out all workshops, check out all books at the bottom, like that would actually be one, consistent between sections, and two, it would signal to you as a viewer that like, oh, I'm at the end of the section, check out all books. It's like, boom. And here it's laid out differently, but fine, like check out all workshops, okay. And if we colorize the background a bit different here or here, then we could have this check out all learning paths, either a button here, somewhere. That would be good. So we probably need to check out all learning paths.
Or how about if we move the learning path section after the service bus lab, like in between the call out to the community call out and the service.
Yeah, so potentially move this section in between.
And
yeah. Down.
In between this,
Yeah. That will work. That'll do the trick. Okay, check out all learning paths. move it between. All right, cool. Okay, so people, let's say that there is the button to check out all learning paths. So people would land here. Okay, good. There's continuity when they land here because it's saying the same thing. And they would have the same button. Eventually they would have, I'm not button, but they have the same card. Eventually we'll have multiple learning paths. They'll have more cards. But it would describe to them what these paths are about and what they can expect, how many there are, kind of what they can expect for them. Okay. Okay. Good. So they go into one saying, yeah, this is the one for me. Okay. So in order to take this course, these are the prerequisite things that I need to have prepared. I might need to, these might be linked. Right now, these are links to go take care of things. There's some content that Lee needs to update to make sure that we've got the right prereqs, but the good, there's this section. Now, in terms of this learning path itself, there's 2 courses in the learning path. If you were to start with the first course, which is, you can see that there is 2 because it's 1 and a 2 now. Nikhil had changed that. So you can drop into 1. You're starting to get this. So we've got a cookie crumb here. Go into our first course and we continue that here. I wonder, is it more intuitive if this was a back arrow, or is this okay for everybody? We might put white space in between them or something. Anybody have a feeling for that? But okay, so irrespective, we're into our course. All right, it's the first of 2 hands-on to our introduction to service meshes, hands-on. So get in. Okay, so we've got 8 chapters in this one. I'm going to get started. If we click get started, it just drops us into our first chapter. Okay, or we can click get started in our first chapter here. Now, if I want to take this right now, it's signaling to me that I would be taking this. Okay, it's telling me I can learn either of these 2 service meshes under the intro to service meshes. So if I get started, okay, the default technology that I'm using is Istio. If I wanted to switch to Linkerd, oh, okay, I'll just get started, take the same course, but I'll take it with Linkerd. Okay. And then, yeah, I've got 1, 2, 3, 8 chapters is what it had said. At the end, we're going to have this, at the end of every chapter, we'll have kind of a consistent conclusion section that, again, part of Lee's homework is to go write a little bit more. What would be nice, Nikhil, is if we have a second course, it's actually a really good place to call that out. So at the end of every, you're taking a chapter, you get to the end, it's like, okay, the next chapter is, so I'm here, observability, next chapter is routing in Canary, next chapter, routing in Canary, okay. Next chapter, oh, good. It just, it navs me through, it iterates through the collection, right? Well, when we get to conclusion, it would be helpful if it said, congrats, and you did great. By the way, you're on to the next course.
By the next course, you mean the advanced?
Wait, say it again. By the next course, I mean the what?
The advanced service mesh, or using a different service.
Or this one, like it would have. So it just is like a reusable snippet or query for a link. other than that, we're here. You can jump into the same style. It's all the same things apply. In terms of advanced, we don't have the advanced service meshes for developers for Linkerd. So that's why you don't see Linkerd. So we only have it for Istio at the moment. We go through the same thing and there's a conclusion. Nice. Nikhil, I think we covered all the changes that you had made. You even got a call out going as well. And you did that right here.
Not everything is done apart from that textual homework for your part. Everything else is done.
Yeah. Yeah. When I actually get to my homework, it'll make a big difference in terms of just the reviews that we're doing, because it'll be a lot. Yeah, it should be easier to comprehend, easier to give feedback because it's real data. Most of the data is real. It's just, so one of the things that I'll have to think about a little bit is like right here on this second, on the advanced courses, we're using Istio, and that's nice. The thing is like on the intro course, we're using Linkerd. That's nice, but not entirely accurate. And so just something for me to think about in terms of content is like, well, we just need some generic service mesh content. It might be that we would just take the same generic logo or icon. And yeah.
So the main reason for altering them was since in the advanced concepts we don't have the Linkerd post. So I thought, okay, use Linkerd in the first one and the second.
Yep, that makes sense. Okay. Any other feedback there? Guys, I need to excuse myself for just a moment. Can Nikhil, let me hand you host. If you guys don't mind, can you identify, maybe we can talk more about who's going to do Netlify config, who might take on some of this feedback. By the time I come back, we can look at maybe the community.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Be right back.
Let me share my screen so that we easier to. Is my screen visible?
Yeah.
So, okay. So, any takers for these 4 items? Like, if anyone would like to take on these 4 items, you can simply add this into the. These should be small 4 items. Adding a link in the sentence pages should be.
Nikhil, I think your voice is not clear enough. I don't know if it's just me.
Okay. Is it better?
Yeah, it's better now.
So what I was saying is, if anyone is interested, they can add their names in the meeting minutes itself, so that it's clear about who is working on which of them, and they can open an issue and track the theme over there to avoid collision between other contributors. If no, then I take them on and submit a PR by this week itself. If it's all of them. Apart from that, the issue with Netlify is we have the no index robot.txt file, but it's not in the preview side, but in the deploy field. Yeah, we do run it with no index, and the no index triggers the robot.txt file. attach the robot.txt file over it. So the issue that we are seeing with Layer5 in the host is it's the older link that we have, and I'm not sure how to exactly use it because any of the repo that we have under add under Netlify, it will create a production deploy. And the only way to close the production deploy is to close the site. Till now, I haven't able to find out any of the resource to help it up. If anyone has any idea, they can share the link.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you actually. What did you
So,
say?
so I was saying is, what I was saying is, for the deploy preview, we have the robots.txt file. And previously, we used to see the deploy preview coming up in Google Search Index. But after adding the robots.txt file, it doesn't come. And as far as layer5 ng.netlify.app is concerned, it's older link that we have. And the only way to stop that is to close the or stop the production deploy. And there isn't any way to stop the production deploy by default. Only way I could find is to remove the repo from it.
Actually, I don't know if it is already been done or not, but whenever we are talking about Google search indexes, all these things, so there is a meta tag inside all the repositories that we provide. So we can provide our websites there. So I think those things are do matter when we load indexes. So every what I should say, every page should have a meta index that should not point to Netlify, or if it is already not done, then that's why maybe it is pointing to Netlify by default. Other than that, we just discussed about the robot.txt file. I think you are not available for some time, so in that meantime, we just discussed about. So it will be a very great practice if we can include a meta tag in all the websites, whatever the page we are holding. The site name is like Layer5, something similar.
So the thing is, for the meta tag, we have a component name here also. That adds the meta property, which adds the link for the site in each of the pages that we discussed. And the URL over here, which it adds is it is layer5.io, which is the actual.
Okay, it's already set.
Yeah, it's already set. Like we have the Gatsby already provides this component if you want it. And that meta description is being set in Gatsby console.show that we have. Like that's the permalink at the site where
Okay, so is it something of help? Like let's. I'm just resending in the chat, so if you can see. So yeah, it kind of does the same thing that we are about to think. So it prevents Google from indexing our domain.netlify.app. Instead, it just this helps in redirecting to example.com, whatever the domain is, like layer5.io. So there seems to be use robots x robot tag no index, so maybe that will help preventing the indexing of the netlify.app, and if it is not indexed, then surely layer5.io will be given priority.
but
Other than that, I think
I'm not sure if we have such file or if it's in Netlify UI like the Netlify dashboard.
Yeah, so
hey
hey guys, hey, you know, this is actually an easier fix than we're probably thinking it is. Like, see that right there, that build command, npm run no index. That looks kind of like what we're looking for. It looks like it would have the effect that we're looking for. Now, the thing about this build is some time ago, we got fed up with spilling over the build minutes for the free account that we have. And Nikhil helped us move the builds, the preview builds, and the production deploy build, the preview builds and the production builds out of Netlify and into GitHub workflows. So, excuse me, our Netlify account, it doesn't actually do any builds. You know what we're using it for is just hosting of files, of static files. Like once the build has been done, we push it to Netlify and it's just a static site host. Like that's all it is doing in this case. And so fine, one of the ways to overcome, to tell Google and the rest of the search engines to stop indexing this thing is when we have two types of builds that we're doing in workflows. One is a production build and the other one is a deploy preview build. So in the workflow for the deploy preview, we can incorporate a robots.txt, which should be just a single file that is applicable for the entire site. We can also double it up with like a meta tag, you know, that you guys were discussing, so that every single page also says, don't index me, don't index me. As long as it's saying, don't index me, that's good. If the meta tag says, oh, no, I'm going to redirect you somewhere else, that's a problem because not only would it redirect the search engine robots, but it would also redirect any of us that are looking at deploy previews.
Oh, okay, so for the deploy previews part, we have the robots.txt file already. Right. It takes care for the deploy previews that we have. If we check out this site, like we have two workflows, right? One of them, the which actually builds the site, runs this command npm run no index, and this command takes care of creating the robots.txt file and adding into the branch directory.
So
the issue with what we are seeing, this site is something which was last built on February 3. Okay, the last update it had. After that, this URL didn't have any other update. How come it's showing deleted?
Yep, I see. That's the thing that you've only been trying to say for the last half hour, which is like, great, we have this, like we fixed this a while ago. It's kind of what you're saying, except the last time that we were using the old process of having Netlify do the builds, we never went back to tear down that particular deployment. And so that old deployment is still indexable, yeah, from back in February.
Like from the Netlify dashboard, I'm not able to find a way through which we can close out this production deploy.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous, isn't it?
Any of the repo, if we add to Layer5, like in Netlify, it will by default create a production deploy for it. We can't complete that.
Yeah, so I guess one of the questions is, if we delete the Layer5 build configuration, the site configuration in Netlify, would that have the effect of not only tearing down February 19th's site, but would it also have the effect of breaking our deploy previews? Like, would we not have a place to push our deploy previews?
Yeah, no, we won't have a place to push it.
But yeah, that's an interesting question though, because so the deploys for Layer5 NG right here, it stopped in early February. of the update. Okay, yeah, right there, October 15th. So of the previews that we've been doing, yeah, they're being. So production, yeah, I don't know if we can, if there's a way to turn off production versus deploy. So we turned off production. We turned off builds for production, but can we turn off the website for production? Or might I even? Private. Production branch. None, deploy only the production.
Anyway, we have to deploy any of the branch to the production, whether it Layer5 or master. Or there isn't any none option. Or
Right. So
I'm not sure. Like this is one of the links Abhishek shared. It is about adding this line in the header file, which I'm not sure if we have one, or if it's something which we have to find in the rectify.ql file.
cool. Yeah. Well, what,
But check that out to see if we can get something.
yeah. Well, there's a couple of, I guess we're still kind of qualifying the issue. Like if you go to your latest pull request preview, your latest deploy preview, and then you'd go to /robots.txt.
It won't show up that.
Now, so the assumption here is that search engines will see this and they'll turn away, like they're done. They won't bother indexing the deploy previews. Okay, good. Let's just assume that this is working. I think this is working. I think that makes sense. What we don't have is back from like the February 19th build or early February build is that one. That's the build right there. Yeah. If you go to /robots.txt here, it won't be there won't be one. So one of the ways to overcome this is to potentially run another one of these builds, but make sure that it includes a robots.txt.
Okay. Okay, we'll have to check that out. How to get that file into it, because then we can have we can trigger one master build. We will have to send a PR which will create a master build, and then again another PR which will remove that robot. Because currently how we are deploying is we are deploying it to the site branch. From there, the code is being deployed to the main Layer5.
Okay. Well, gotcha. What if, okay, that makes sense. But also, what if just within netlify.com itself, if you re-enabled the build but we made sure that production build here, the production build that's configured here on February 4th or whatever, that includes the no index as part of the run command.
Okay.
And then we just initiate build from here, from this site. Okay. What the heck? Stopped, no index. I mean, if that no index has that effect, we should be able to turn on the builds, run it. It would then drop a build command. We just need to make sure that the production build has no index set.
I will check that out and see
Okay.
if that works out or not. We can
Okay.
avoid with the other.
Cool. Or we could try the other way that you were saying. Yeah, I guess like either way, as long as we get a robots.txt onto that old, oh yeah, good. Okay. Okay. Well, knowing that we're nearing the top of the hour, did Vedant, Shubham, and Zane, oh yeah, you had Vedant signed up a couple of places. Nice. Shubham is there. A reusable snippet. Yeah, that's a good one for Nikhil with his GraphQL skills. And Lee's got so much homework, it's not even worth writing it all down. The Netlify thing, I think we're leaving that with Nikhil as well. Now, guys, we do, near as we can get to it, there's a, the mesh map plugin for, there's a new page for us to create for on Meshery, and it needs to cover the mesh map utility or the mesh map plugin. We just don't have a design for it yet. It doesn't have to be initially the sexiest of things. We just don't have anything written down. And so, but for reference for Shubham and Vedant, do you guys know what mesh map looks like? It was just in the last news release that we made. So I'll put a link to it in the chat. We basically, we basically need a new page that incorporates the screenshot that you all, actually, it wouldn't so much, does anybody, Vedant or Shubham, do you, or even Abhishek, any of you guys have experience with Adobe After Effects or Adobe, Adobe After Effects ideally?
No, actually, I don't have any experience with Adobe.
Yeah, anyway, ideally we have, when we make that page, ideally it'll have a small movie. Even if you don't have experience with After Effects, there's, if we just have a short video recording, like let's say that there was one sitting around, we can actually take it and make it look pretty good without any After Effects stuff. The way to make it look pretty good is you can take the movie, like an MP4, the video that's going to play, embed it in the site. Fine. It doesn't, that's not super attractive, right? You can take it though, shadow it. So you bring it out of the page a little bit, and then you can translate it, transcribe it so that it's kind of sitting at an angle to you. And when a user, and it just starts auto playing on the page. When a user hovers over it, it would straighten back out. Like, so there's an example site that has this. I'll show it to you guys. We could start working on that, just assuming there's whatever video is there, whether it was created with After Effects or not. The way to show that video would be pretty cool if we could have a little bit of an interaction going on. So I'll find an example and send it to you guys and see if one of you wants to try to recreate that. But I'll look for it. I just saw one last night. But other than that, anything else that we want to go over today? Oh, hey, by the way, there's if you guys go to this site, loft.sh, so this site doesn't have, if you go halfway, most of the way down the page, there's an interactive, it's not interactive, but there's a terminal. And this isn't like, I'm just curious as to what component they're using. So we have this on our site, and like we're using a set of components to draw that bash screen, and ours is kind of difficult to deal with. I'm assuming they had theirs when it got done, it said replay on it. I'm assuming they're using some easy to use, like ours, it'll update as you go up and down the screen, and that's fine, that's cool, that's neat. But I'm curious if someone will want to look into loft.sh and understand what they're using. They're using a particular tool or library to do that, because it looks like they are. And so, Shubham, I don't. Do you want to take that, man? Do you want to go invest, go explore, do some reverse engineering? You can look in their GitHub as well in case that this site is open source. I don't know if it is. Or do what Nikhil is doing, which is, you know, Frost. Cool. So we should, Shubham, if you're up for that challenge, we should put that into the meeting minutes so we can follow up next week.
Yeah, sure. I will look into it.
Nice. And you do, and if it's not interesting, don't sweat it. But if it is, yeah, that's. Nice. Okay. Then I'm supposed to send you guys all an example of what I meant by a video that's slightly tilted. That would be for this mesh map thing. Send an example of tilted video. Yeah. Okay. That's it, gents. Anything else to chat about? We'll do the WebAssembly call in about an hour, and yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah. Well, thank you much, Nikhil. Thanks for hosting too. It's nice. Yeah. Nice job on the learning paths. Like, yeah, it's there. I mean, I think you only took one real piece of feedback, which was just at the end of the courses to have that other, link to the next course. The other piece of feedback about moving the section on the page, that's like, that's very short, brief feedback. So like, yeah, dude, as soon as I'll make it a point of getting the text up there this week, and we can go celebrate. We can get an email. We can not only announce it on Friday's community meeting, but we can also get an email prepped that says like, we're announcing a new, not academy, but learning paths. So that's cool. Yeah. All right. I'll see you guys very soon. Talk to you later. Nice. Yeah. Well, at some point too, we're gonna have to just buy Nikhil a new microphone. We'll send it to him. We should have done it a long time ago. I'm gonna send you a credit card. And, okay. All right.
Okay. See you again.
Bye, guys. Bye.
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 Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.